What's up, guys? I apologize for the poor audio. I left my microphone back in the States, so I'll just be yelling at the camera. But I just wanted to do a little breakdown. I just got back to the Airbnb in this nice, very modern kitchen. And I just want to do a breakdown of day one at Filthy 150. So just to kind of give my thoughts, kind of share them and run through what went through my head, stuff like that. Just kind of event by event. So first event was awesome, both as a test of skill and also for me. So that was also nice. It was a 1,000-meter ski for time, and every 2 minutes, including zero, you had to do a 20-meter handstand walk, so 10 meters out, 10 meters back. The plan for the whole weekend for Filthy 150 is to practice being better in competition. So I'm too good in the gym with testing, retesting, and kind of game planning everything. So one of the big focal points this weekend is on doing less of that. So on being a little bit more kind of in the moment and just, going off the cuff. So for that first event, the game plan was basically send it, because I'm really good on my hands, especially under fatigue. And in this setting, what was most important was actually being able to handstand walk quickly. So I'm very fast on my hands, and that makes a lot of time, because I think I was able to get my handstand walks done in something close to 20 seconds, 25 seconds, whereas most of the field were on the first one about 4 to 5 seconds behind me, and on the second one almost 10 seconds behind me, like the next fastest athlete. And obviously that made a huge difference in how much time I had on the ski erg. So it was basically just how hard can you push the ski erg test for me, knowing that I could handstand walk really quickly. When I was walking out on the floor, Dan had kind of looked at me and I asked him how it went, and he said, "You can definitely do it in 2 rounds." And I thought I could, but I wasn't, kind of positive. I definitely thought it was possible, so I decided to go for it. So first round went out, handstand walked as fast as I could, made sure to stay nice and clean, get my hands fully over the line, all that stuff. And then held like a 134 or so through the first interval of skiing. And I got about 540 meters in, plus or minus, on my first window when the 2 minutes mark came around, and I had to handstand walk again. And then I got back on the ski erg and I started holding about a 136, 137 until I had about 250 left, and then I started to pick it up and I sprinted the last 150, because I think they said about 30 seconds left until the next interval, when I had about a $1.50 left. So sprinted that out and went under 130 for the last 100 meters or so, just to make sure I got it done, and ended up finishing in 352, 353 I think it was. And that was an event win, so that's always a good confidence booster, just to know that I have the capability to win events, and executing when it matters most. So that was great. So that was event one, and then event two, I knew it was going to be harder for me. It was basically a bar muscle up test. So it was a 21-15-9 couplet of bar muscle ups and back squats at 205 from the floor, or 90 kilos, 205-ish, 200 pounds, something like that. So with that one, the game plan was to not have a game plan. So I just wanted to go out and stop doing muscle ups when I felt like I should, and keep doing muscle ups until I felt like I shouldn't. And it didn't really work out that well as far as the game plan that I chose in the moment, but I executed based off of the choices I made. I'm happy with how I executed it. So I went 14-7 on the first set of 21 muscle ups, and then kind of cruised through the back squats at a steady pace. And then the set of 15 muscle ups was a bit of a shit show, because I think in hindsight, I probably should have taken another very quick break on the set of 21, just because for me, that becomes a grip test. So by the time I got about halfway through the 15 muscle ups, my forearms were shot. I was worried about holding onto the bar and having a powerful kind of press down on my transition. So the 15 muscle ups, I ended up breaking into, I think it was 4 or 5 sets, so way too many times. And that's obviously kind of where it fell apart. Most 21-15-9 workouts tend to be won or lost in the 15s, and that was definitely the case for me tonight. And then I went out for the 15 back squats, same thing, tried to pick up the pace a little bit, got 7 or 8 reps in, and my legs hurt pretty bad. And then the set of 9 muscle ups was a, kind of hold on for dear life disaster. So it was not, not great. But like I said, in the moment, I kept my breaks really short, and even though my sets got small, I kind of minimized the rest time, which was important to me. But at the end of the day, like I said, probably too hot on the front end, and that definitely bit me on the back end. I ended up finishing the workout in like 6:40 something, 6:40, 1, 2. It was a 7-minute time cap, so it wasn't really a great performance. It ended up being around 20th place, against the field. And talking to a lot of other guys, a couple guys were saying it was a grip workout for them, heart rate, this, that. The workout definitely hurt a lot. Like, it was a great test of fitness, and like my legs were dying afterwards, and I was breathing pretty heavy. But at the end of the day, like I said, the limiting factor was my grip strength. So that's something we obviously know we need to work on, and it's going to be a big focus this off season. So I'm not too upset with how it went. I didn't do great against the rest of the field, but I didn't really expect to, because again, we haven't had a chance to put in the amount of work that I know I need, kind of on those elements. So yeah, and then the final workout of the day was a 1 rep max snatch. Obviously, I'm never going to complain about a 1 rep max snatch, so that's pretty awesome. I went out, and in the warm-up area, things felt real crunchy. My forearms were tight from the last workout. I was having a little bit of hand pain, wrist pain in my right side. So spent a lot of time mobilizing my forearms and my hands, trying to open up those muscles and make things feel a little better. And they did, by the time we got out, or by the time I finished warming up. So the most I snatched in the warm-up area was 115, which is about 252. So that was my planned opening weight. I got out on the floor and I hit, so I slapped on 70 kilos, hit that. Then I went up to 100 kilos and I hit that. And I actually had time to also hit 110 before the clock started. So I was able to get a good couple warm-up reps in, and things were feeling really good. So I actually ended up opening at 120. I ended up opening at 120, which is about 265. So it was a pretty heavy opener, but like I said, it felt great, and I knew I had it. So, after that, I made basically, I think, about 5 kilo jumps. So I went 120, and then I went 120 to 130, which was very aggressive, but things felt great, and I knew I wanted to kind of swing for the fences on that one. So hit 130, which is about 286, and it felt awesome. That's a pretty good snatch day for me. So 286. In competition is something I'm happy with. From there, I hit 135, and that felt stellar. Just sat right in, no shakiness in the bottom. The pull felt great. Life was good, so that felt really good. That was about 297, so that's a great snatch day for me. And then after that, because of the plates we had, the only 2 jumps I could really make were from 135 to either 137.5 or to 140. And 137.5 is basically a snatch PR match for me, and I don't believe in matching PRs. So I made the highly more aggressive jump to 140, which would have been 308, which would have been essentially a 5 or 6 pound PR lifetime. So I was pretty fired up. The crowd got real loud, got into it. And honestly, it was the best lift of the night. Felt great off the floor, felt fast out of the hip. I locked it out, and I was kind of trying to balance it, and I was just a little bit too far back on my heels, and I ended up losing the lift. I rocked back out of the back of it, and I didn't attempt it again. The format for the workout was basically a 20-second lifting window a 20-second lifting window every 3 minutes. So, I made those lifts, and, things felt great. It ended up being tied for the event win, so 135 kilos tied with Adrian and Will for the event win. So, I was able to pick up 2 event wins and did okay in an event that I wasn't really, expecting to go super well. So overall, it was a great day 1. I think it was a pretty good test of fitness from start to finish. 5150 ran the event awesome. They're, from an athlete perspective, things went really well. So I think from there, they're doing a great job on the event side of things. So that's, that's great to see, and I hope they keep that up for the rest of the weekend. But yeah, so I will check in tomorrow night when day 2 is done. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment below, DM me, or you can reach out to me any way you want. So chat with you guys soon. Cheers.